What up, y'all? I'm really excited about our little episode today. We're astromanics, but at the same time, mostly Team Aquarius whenever. It's like slowly changing more and more into just shifting. Pluto's going into Aquarius. We're gonna shift, right? But the real
Evolve,
reason, yeah,
innovate.
right? Yeah, evolve, innovate, change shit up. But what I
Aquarius
realized,
words.
so we have Mary, of course, work wife,
Hello.
glorious creature, right? And Mary has a Venus in Scorpio and an Aquarius moon. Mary, how does that feel on you?
It's a bit of an oxymoron, truthfully. One cares too deep, one doesn't care at all, which is maybe a myth to some extent, but like kind of true also, right? Like it's not completely void of emotion, but it is very
Just letting you know, right?
cold and distant at times, right?
Yeah.
And Scorpio can be cold and mysterious.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just cold, I guess. I don't know.
Girl, sometimes I just have strong opinions. That's what's up.
Sometimes I'm prickly and you cannot hug me,
And you
you know?
cannot hook me. Oh my God, perfect. And then we have Christina. Hi, Christina.
Hello.
Christina has a Venus in Cancer and an Aquarius rising.
Yes, yes, all the feels.
All the feels, right? Yeah. So how does it feel? Do you also feel like detached at times and sort of hopeless romantic at others?
I would say I'm hopeless romantic all the time, but I also care too much about romantic partners that I've had. And I have a tendency to be motherly to like not just men that I date, but like also my friends too. So I'm very nurturing.
Yeah.
The Aquarius rising, sometimes I feel a little detached from because I'm like, oh wait, I'm supposed to go with what everyone else is doing. But it's like, no, 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 no. You gotta blaze your own path. You gotta figure out what's unique to you. So
Yeah.
that's been interesting to dive more into that.
I love it. You're both so good at describing those parts.
I think I could even go a step further. I was just thinking about it. I was like, okay, so the Scorpio kind of wants to like own your soul,
Mhm.
Mm,
right? But the Aquarius
interesting.
wants to know labels. Like, you're mine, but don't call me like girlfriend or something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, don't,
But like
I
Mhm.
don't
we
know.
know it. Yeah.
I relate.
But do I want you to bleed for me? And do I want to know that, like, yeah, like it's an oxymoron. I feel like it's a little difficult.
Oh
That's
yeah.
funny.
Okay, Laicy, you are
Yeah.
a
I'm a Venus
Aquarius sun,
Aquarius sun.
Venus, Pisces.
Pisces.
I
So
said
what
it
that
backwards.
looks like is I feel like I'm driving on a boat full of fishing lines and then I hook people and then I'm like, sorry, as I'm driving through trying to detach.
Non-committal hooking.
Sorry.
Like,
I don't know what I'm doing. Right? That's what it feels like.
people are like worshiping you, and you're like, bye.
I know. I know that was really
So
meaningful
funny.
just now for most of us, but me, right? Like, so that's what I feel like, You just have all these fishing lines, and then they're like, but wait, and you're like, oh, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing, That's how it feels.
Like a siren goddess, right? So like you talk, everybody's like, but then actually you have this like Mount Olympus perspective.
Right,
Hmm.
right. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I do care a lot. But when I get fixed on a person, though, right? Uh, then it is on that person. So like I don't have so even though I have multitudes of like sexy experiences, I will have sort of in my mind and fantasy only one. Right? There will be only
Hmm.
one person like who I actually fantasize about like actively, which is interesting, right? Do either of you fantasize about other people?
I would say I
I guess
do. Yeah. If I'm
I was
in a
going.
committed relationship, I don't. But like if I'm like in a non-committal place,
Mhm.
then yeah, I will. Go ahead, Mary.
I was like, define fantasize.
Do I even
Like,
fantasize?
So funny.
I would say like maybe like when I read certain books or there's certain stories that are very like fantastical, like fantasy and like, right? then maybe I'll find myself kind of wanting that scenario or that like world.
Mhm.
But I don't ever feel like I fantasize about a person.
Mhm.
I don't think that's a thing. I think it's like a maybe I'm envious of like a whole ass situation, a world, a castle, a relation, you know what I mean? Like a whole thing. But I don't think I'm ever like, oh, that person, like that's
Mhm.
I gotta go bigger. I don't know. Like
Nice.
maybe if they're a part of something, I don't know.
Oh, interesting. All right. So maybe they're a part of
Interesting.
a world. Yeah.
Do you
Interesting.
fantasize, Laicy?
Yeah. I so my fantasies are, like I said, are the one person, right? That I will go to all the time. But there are times where I remember ex-boyfriends and where it stopped because I didn't have sex before marriage, right? So there are boyfriends I had prior to my husband, and sometimes I'll fantasize about them, right? Like where it stopped, what if it would have continued? I will fantasize about that, and that's very fun. But like it's not all the time. You know what I mean? It's like just kind of certain transits actually will trigger that. It's really interesting to note as a obsessed astrologer, right? About love.
Well, then I guess to Christina's point of like when you're in a relationship though,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't. So like, would you still fantasize about someone if you had them, right? Or is it like
I
the
don't
act
know.
of not being accessible that makes it a fantasy somehow? Is that why we like characters? Maybe
Yeah,
because like
maybe
never.
Maybe.
it's not possible. Well, on that note, we want to talk about. So we decided to bring three people, three actors, three whatevers, right?
I don't know.
Three.
Christina and I did 4.
Yeah, that you did four. I have an honorable mention in my four. Right? I have an
So do
honorable
I.
mention. But yeah, talk about your big four. I have three with an honorable mention. But we decided, oh, hey, since we have a Venus trip, we have all water Venuses. What are water Venuses attracted to? Right. And then how do maybe they feel they attract, but mostly what are we attracted to? Right. So we were like, oh my gosh, let's choose three people to talk about who we find attractive. So, Christina, do you want to go first?
Sure.
All righty. So I'm going to give you hosts so that you can share yours.
Okay.
Okay, make host. Boop.
Just close out.
Yeah, I know, right? Let me just close
Yeah.
out all the tabs that I had open.
Yes. Okay. So, I have three plus one other person, so technically
Perfect.
4.
Perfect.
I have one female and then the rest are male. I am
Okay.
straight, but there's one person I would absolutely go gay for, and I would tell you who that is. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. And okay, can everyone see this?
Everyone, oh my God, and I love your pink and everything. Shut all the way
Thank
up.
you. I'm
Yes.
trying to like move it over. Why is this being weird? Oh
Because
my gosh.
is in opposition to Uranus. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Okay, hold on. Stop share for a second.
Girl, I've got to like make that thing work. Yeah.
Is part of the appeal of Megan Fox that she loves astrology.
Yes. So
She's basically an
Megan
astrologer.
is basically an astrologer. She is freaking awesome. I love her. She's very like in touch with her emotions, and she's very, I almost like the dark, mysterious side of her. Are you guys familiar with Call Her Daddy? You know that podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't listen to it like a lot, but I've definitely listened to a few episodes.
I really liked her episode of Call Her Daddy. It was very interesting, very intriguing. And I'm also like, I don't love their relationship, but I'm kind of obsessed with her and Machine Gun Kelly and their volatile, toxic, whatever you want to call it, relationship. And I may or may not have like analyzed the synastry of the two of them. Like I've
Oh,
watched YouTube videos and
yeah. I did an episode on them.
oh yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
Yeah.
They're
They're
definitely an interesting
fascinating.
pair. Yeah, I think they're both Taurus. Is that right? Like
Mm,
Taurus sun?
I think he's a Pisces sun, right? Or something. And then she's like a Taurus. I know she's a Cap
Something.
rising. That's what I remember
Yeah.
about hers.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of like duality. I just don't remember what.
Yeah.
But yeah, Megan is really fucking hot.
Yeah.
I immediately would switch teams for her. She's just very in touch with like her femininity. She's a strong woman, doesn't let anybody fuck with her, and I love that.
So she's like a fighter.
She really is. She's been through a lot of shit, unfortunately, and I know that she got married very young and she met her husband very young too. In case you don't know, she's married to Brian Austin Green from 90210, which I loved that show.
Oh yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Watched it much later in life, but
Hmm.
loved the reruns. So I think that she was probably never given the chance to like, what's the word, like really embrace her youth. So maybe that's like kind of what she's been doing now. And again, I don't really presently know if she's still with MGK right now,
Right. I don't
but
know.
I think that she's been kind of exploring that other side to her
Mhm.
of, hey, I am going to be a little bit more edgy. She's always had like a little bit of an edgy vibe to her. But I think that she's kind of giving herself the permission to be a little bit out there and more herself, which is really cool to see.
Right.
Yeah, I like she'll show basically naked and look amazing somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And I think MGK gets jealous because
Yeah.
she's hot. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember her talking about their astrology and saying something about
Yes.
how the mood swings were deep and intense because of his Pisces something.
Hmm.
And I could see it in her face that she loved like a damaged Pisces. You know what I mean? She was just like she was there for that, and I was like, I get it. You know,
Girl, I get damaged Pisces.
I get why that's attractive, even if it's toxic. There's still sometimes a pull there, right? A
Right.
mysticism, a mystery.
Hmm.
You know,
Yes. As someone who's been mystified
By a couple of Pisces men, I understand the appeal.
As someone who is perpetually vexed by them, I understand it. Right? Yeah.
So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love Megan Fox and will gladly switch teams for her.
Nice.
Okay, next we have John Corbett.
Hmm.
He plays Aiden Shaw on Sex and the City and the spinoff Just Like That, which I haven't really watched, but I am a big fan of Sex and the City, the original. Came out in 1988. Sarah
Mhm.
Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
I really loved him, and he was also in the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I don't know if either one of you.
Yeah, that's where thank you. I was looking at him earlier and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I've
him.
seen that guy from somewhere.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been in a couple things. Yeah, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, he was really good in. I like that character of him too. But Aiden's like the sweet, like
Mhm.
caring guy, and I won't spoil it for any of you who haven't seen Sex and the City, but Carrie, like, yeah, she doesn't see him for who he is and like doesn't feel like she deserves him, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I can't go ahead.
Oh, I watched some clips of him, right? I went on
Yeah.
YouTube to see clips. And yeah, he was like sort of this ultimate boyfriend, right? Like what she called
Yeah.
him, right? And he was so kind to her all the time. They had like such a good relationship. And
Yeah.
then yeah, that she kind of kept cheating on him, right? Like she
Yeah, she cheated on him with Big, who is her fuckboy boyfriend slash emotionally unavailable man
right.
she couldn't really let go of.
Hmm.
But yeah, she did him dirty, and I believe they reunited in the spin-off series. I can't speak to what happens with them there. I'd have to look. But yeah, he played the part really well, and he was very attractive then. He's still attractive now.
He's a guy who like listens, right? He portrays a
Yeah.
guy who listens, who cares about what you have to say, right?
Yeah.
Who is in it to win it in a way, right? At relationships, and that really comes through, I think.
Yeah, and he's emotionally like available, and me with the Venus and Cancer, like someone who's nurturing, I just love that.
Right.
And just very like he's probably like 6'5" or so. He's really fucking tall.
Yeah.
He's just like a giant teddy bear, like this character, and I don't know what
So
he
do
is
you
like in
like
real life.
tall
Yeah,
men?
I do.
Yeah, tall, tiny merman.
Funny, the last 3 guys I've been with were like 5'6" or 5'5".
Yeah.
And I dated a 6'11", no, not 6'11",
A
6
giant,
foot,
you say?
yeah. The guy
Basketball player.
I'm with now is 5'8", so I'm good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do like tall men because like I feel like they're just very like nurturing and like they're huggable and like a
Yeah.
teddy bear. And I feel like this is Aiden Shaw's character.
Yes. No,
Is
totally.
it something about like the dichotomy of it being like a big person, but then also being like a gentle giant or something?
Yeah.
Right? Is it the like you could rip people apart, but you're sweet and gentle?
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, we are going to move on to my next person.
Oh my god. I almost picked it.
This is Ian Somerhalder. He plays Damon Salvatore on the Vampire Diaries. Oh
Fucked
my
me
god.
up. This character is
Yes.
just
Oh my god. Yeah.
yeah. It's really hard that Laicy hasn't seen this because
No, but I watched clips. So I went on YouTube and I just watched the clips, right? And I think I am him. So that's why I was like, oh.
That's so funny. Yes.
maybe
he was
slightly less violent, but yeah.
Yeah. He's very smoldering on the show. Very like I feel like he has Scorpio vibes to him as his character. In real life, I know. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
just chart briefly. But yeah.
I think he's a Sag. Yeah, I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Yeah. I looked up. I know he has a Aries moon. That's how I know.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the Aries moon, and that I think that translates even into the characters because of the brother, right, Mary? You think the Aries moon like kind of shows
Oh, yeah.
itself?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like the competition for Elena and whatever else
Yeah.
they're doing.
It
Good
just
versus
like
evil.
Lacey's like, it's me, and I'm like, yeah. And then you said Aries moon, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, so
All those things.
that shows through, I would say.
Well, a little bit of like, I only want the one person who doesn't want me.
Yeah.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
relate.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
that was a stab in the heart. Oh.
I
I want one
Coming
person who
for
doesn't
you.
want me.
Oh my gosh. It's
Well, just like there's a chase factor that I think is
Yes.
very palpable for Aries placements. Me as an Aries Mars can
Mm.
relate to that, right? When the chase is gone,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know.
Your Venus and Scorpio, that's a Mars ruled Venus. Yeah.
Yep. Double Mars ruled chart. Fuck. Yeah, he hits on my like my certain wounds too. Like so I have things around like not feeling special or like feeling replaceable, right? And then this dude goes so hard and thinks this one person is like so special and everything, right? And like you're like, ooh, it's like a heart punch, right? 'Cause I'm like, okay, does that really exist, or are you just a character? I know.
Oh, so you're like, you would want someone to feel that way about you, kind of a thing, like.
Well, I think that's like what if I was gonna be a hopeless romantic, it would be like that. You know what I mean? It would be like maybe slightly toxic.
Yeah,
like this guy, you know. Oh, I can't help
Yeah.
but love him though. He's
He's
there's
very
something here.
charming, right? That was the thing that I noticed in the clips, right? He's super charming. He's super bold, right? So he just hits on you because he knows he's hot. And when somebody knows they're hot, what they do is then they can have all this presumption, right?
Confidence through the roof. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I
he-
don't think I like this actor. I think I just like this character because like
I agree.
not that he's not hot, like sure he's hot, but like it's this particular character that has something irresistible about him.
Yeah, I liked his charm. I thought that was great.
Yeah, the character
Swagger.
for sure.
What
He
about him,
definitely
do you
has
think-
swagger.
What about him or his character? And what do you think your Venus likes about him? And what do you think she don't like about him, right? You both have said like, oh, I like this character, but maybe not him as an actor or person.
I think because he's really different in real life. I know he's a huge environmental activist in his personal life, and he's actually married to Nikki Reed, who is in the Twilight movies in the movie 13 with Evan Rachel Wood.
Mhm.
And I know that the two of them have kind of stepped away from Hollywood, and they've really been focusing on environmental activism and all that whole thing, bringing awareness to climate change and everything.
Yeah.
And that's very different from this character. Actually, that makes sense with the Sagittarius part of him. I just made that connection. But yeah, the character itself is very different. He's very, like you said, charming.
Right.
He's very like mysterious, like goes after what he can't have. The part I don't like about him is that when he shows you like the good part of him, he switches back. It's like, come on, dude, you were doing so well. Like you were rooting for you.
But that's also what you kind of love about him, though, is that
Yeah.
he's so human, right? That like he seems so unreal in ways, and then he has these outbursts, and you're like, God, I can relate. But then at the same time, right? This is this humanness of the roller coaster also, but the also rooting for him to win the whole thing, right? You're just like, yeah. I want you to have everything. I don't know why I'm rooting for you so hard.
It's true.
It's just...
Awesome.
Okay, my honorary one is Pete Davidson.
What the fuck is up with Pete Davidson? Like Ariana Grande, Kim K, right?
Yeah,
like
that dude can
PD.
get it.
I did an episode on him too.
You did?
I did.
That one.
I think I did one on him and somebody else, right? Pete Davidson or people that, yeah, but he has a lot of Scorpio. So that's,
Yeah, he does.
yeah.
I think his
Yeah.
sense of humor is really attractive too, right? Like
Yes.
SNL, when he's able to like just make you fucking die because he's like so committed to it too. There's something that's just
Yeah.
funniness puts his hotness up, you know.
Yeah. I will say it took me a little while to get on the bandwagon of Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Wait, what did it then? What got you?
I think when I just saw these women he was getting and how funny he is, like I love his stand-up on Netflix. It's hilarious. And I've actually seen him live in person.
Oh, nice.
I was like in the first few rows, so that was kind of cool.
Mhm.
I think that it was just like, oh, okay. We're both New Yorkers, so I love anybody from New York.
Yeah.
The funniness and just like he's not afraid to like be truthful and be honest with what he's been through.
Yeah.
Like, hey, my dad died 9/11. I've been on
Right.
drugs my whole life. You know,
Right.
I've struggled with some mental illness. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I know he
But yeah.
loves his mama, right? Like he bought a
mom's boy.
house so that his mom could be with him, right? That's like super
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Which is also a nurturing, caring thing, right? That Venus taking care of mom, right? Like in that way,
Yeah.
it's really sweet.
I do love someone who is family oriented because that is me, Venus and Cancer, obviously.
Family, right?
Extremely
When he was-
family oriented.
When he was
Okay.
dating Kim K,
Mhm.
everybody and their mom wanted his birth time, right? For synastry reasons.
Yes.
And so Instagram was blowing up. And I remember Aliza Kelly
Yeah.
DM like or tagged his mom in a post and was like, please, we just need to know what time he was born. And she also was like, hey, everybody behave. His mom's here. You know, and I was like,
so cute.
Just
that is cute.
Because we were all obsessed with him and we're like, we have to know.
Yeah, I remember doing like a chart rectification for him, right? Because we didn't know his time of birth, but we know that his father died when he was younger and that he's a Scorpio sun. And usually people who have a father who died when they were young, a child, and they have in a Scorpio sun, usually that sun will be in the 4th house, right? Somebody grew up with father death at home, right? Young.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I figured his chart rectification.
So what rising does that put him at?
Well, okay, so Leo rising then, which makes him an actor, right?
Oh my God,
That
yeah.
seems fitting.
Like it's very much a Leo rising, yeah.
Right? So
Very
now
fitting.
he's an actor. So things line up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. 15 minutes are up. Are you ready to go?
Oh,
Mary?
that's wow, that was perfect.
I know, right?
Next victim.
Yeah.
Next victim.
You want to host me?
Yeah, let's host
Hit me
you.
with that host.
Or I think, do you have to give me back host, or
She might be able to just give it.
Or yeah,
straight
just give it to
over.
Mary.
Let's see.
pass it to Mary? You're on this side of me.
Yeah, I know, right?
No.
I always point to people like
Yeah,
you can
like
see them in the
same
same way that I can.
Did it work?
Let's see. Oh, it's letting me share, so
Good. Oh, good. Yay.
Yay.
anybody surprised? Anybody? No.
Aubrey Plaza.
Okay, I've been in love with her since Parks and Rec, if we're being honest, right? But like something about this role as Rio in Agatha all along feels like an apex moment, right? Like this is who I think she's always envisioned herself to be, who I've envisioned her as, right? This scene right here where she licks the blood off her hand.
This is so Venus and Scorpio to me, right? We have an esoteric, witchy person. I'm attracted to the dark and to the lightness, right? Because Venus kind of wants to bring a lightness, and so she laughs when things are dark, right? And
yes, people are getting cursed, we're getting hella scared, and she's like giggling, just giggling, you know. This scene right here, right, where she's
my heart is
somebody who's Catherine Hahn, Agatha, is like, you don't have a heart, and she's like, yes I do, it's black and it beats for you, and then she like licks the blood
kills
off
her
of
with
her.
a lick.
Yeah, it was hot.
Yeah, Mary like died. She was like, oh my god.
I've rewatched it so many times. I mean, this show, everything about the show is so good. I mean, obviously they have tons of different like outfits. This is kind of like one of the first ones that you see her as a witch.
Yeah.
Before that, she's this, which is also fantastic. You know what I mean? There's like nothing I didn't love about her character and like her in general. Yeah.
Love it.
So I think the fact that she is unapologetically masculine sometimes, I think with her like fuck yous and her handle herself kind of, you know what I mean? I think obviously her aesthetic, the fact that she's been creepy outwardly her whole life, right? Like for as long as I feel like she's been on camera, she's been
and
herself,
that also gives like that
way.
detached, right? That detached thing. Your Aries moon would also be into it, right?
Yeah, Aquarius moon. My Aries
Mars.
Aquarius,
sorry. Aquarius moon.
Yeah, no, there's I don't even know what to say. Like to me, it's just obvious. Like, what do you know?
So you like that she is hard. Now, do you want to be seduced by her, or would you want to do the seducing? Or I guess those might be even irrelevant. What would you do if you were alone with her and she were into you in the same room, Mary?
I don't know. I think we just try to torture each other for a while.
Okay, with floggers, with crops.
No, with words, probably. With words. It would be words, right? It would be like
interesting.
We'd probably be rude to each other, and it'd be okay, you know, like it'd be like, yeah, I don't. It's hard for me to explain, but to me, it's just so obvious.
This is another thing for I think water Venuses, right? Because it's a feeling. So it's kind of like, how does one describe a feeling, a knowing,
right?
A pull,
an absolute, you know, you gotta know. Okay, so my second Lip, or his character from The Bear, I can't remember his name, but like they feel very similar in personalities to me, right? And aesthetics, both a little grungy, but like good-hearted, you know. Lip, especially because I've only seen the first season of The Bear. I know there's a second one out, but it's so like honorable, right? Like seems to make the right choice for his family, and like constantly putting himself like last to these people that are like crazy, but he has all this loyalty towards. I also love that he is incredibly intelligent, right? Like like effortlessly I also think this is somebody, I think it's so funny. They're always trying to like clickbait you into thinking that he's related to Gene Wilder and he's not.
No.
Yes, I've seen
He
that.
just
It's
looks like
hilarious.
him.
Gene Wilder
Yeah.
was a childhood crush of mine only because he was so confident. So it's kind of fun to see it.
Interesting.
I think, you know, this guy's confidence too, especially his lip is the thing that gets you
Yeah.
like.
His lip, is that what you said?
No, his name is Lip, Phil Lip.
Oh, Philip.
Shameless.
Yeah, and Shameless, they call him Lip.
Mhm.
I saw a meme recently that said he's like the new Pete Davidson with all these girls he's dating in real life, and I'm like, maybe he's had a glow up. It's
Yeah.
he's his divorce too.
Well, like it is kind of this interesting phenomenon where like women who are insanely, almost unnaturally beautiful are the feminine standard of beauty.
Right.
But men who
Mhm.
are grungy and dirty and damaged seem to be our like height of attraction, right? Like it really is an era for guys who are just being themselves and happen to be a chef who has anger issues, who means well, you know?
Do you think there's something about a water Venus that wants to soothe? Because Venus is, she likes to soothe, right? She likes to calm.
I think it's hard for me to separate how much of it is Venus and how much of it is Scorpio, right? Because for me, they're the same.
Yeah.
Something about seeing somebody who's been through stuff,
Yeah.
right? Who has endured pain or like
Yeah.
acts as a result of it or wears it in a way,
Mm-hmm.
almost as a way that you can like a flag, you know, for other Scorpios or like maybe Pisces, any water really. It's like a water flag.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, something about that to me, that kind of depth, pain, vulnerability, things like that, are attractive, right?
Somebody, yeah, being authentic with themselves. My husband is bisexual and he totally has a crush on this guy too.
And your husband also has a crush on my third choice,
Uh-huh.
Loren.
Adam Driver.
That one's a Scorpio sun. I've looked at his chart.
You
Well,
could just
okay.
tell.
Again, so much like the characters here, right? I don't know if I like Jeremy Allen White that much. Like,
Right.
his characters are really, and so then
Yeah.
Adam Driver is very hot regardless, but like his character in Girls far less attractive than like
Oh yeah, I've seen that show. Yeah, he was
damaged ass Kylo Ren, you know,
like fuck boy. I didn't like it.
Oh my
he
God.
had a weird
though.
intensity too, and I think he was maybe showing some sort of like autism spectrum potentially, right? And it was a great character, but not my top attractive.
No,
you
because
know,
he's
like
not like traditionally attractive, right? Like he's not like a guy you would see walking down the street and be like, oh damn.
I don't know. I do think he is. I think his personality in the character of Girls was the thing that
Did it?
got me. Yeah, I didn't like his like. He had moments where I was still thinking he was attractive. Overall, though,
Yeah.
not my favorite character. This though, I think there's something about like a bad boy, like bad guy, like somebody who is fighting evil, right? Damon. But choosing maybe specifically for love, right? Ren. To be good, right? Like
Right.
love compelling the goodness out of these kind of otherwise tortured souls.
Yeah.
There's something very.
Is that something you've experienced too, Christina? Like the goodness out of a tortured soul?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have that too. So I'm like, and then
That's
my
very
favorite
watery.
thing, my favorite scene, my favorite Star Wars movies are with him in it, right? The last three, the one that other Star Wars fans, except for my husband, because we debate about it and I win. So, but yeah, this Adam Driver, right? Like my favorite scenes are when he is like psychically like talking to her, talking to
Yeah.
Ray's character.
Ray. I said Ren, but Ray, yeah. When
Yeah,
he's,
yeah.
I love those too.
Yeah. And where it's like, and he's like, I can only see just you, right? You know, kind of a thing. Like something about that is like,
The intensity is good too, you know.
yeah, right.
Yeah, see this less attractive right here. This whatever's happening here.
What, you don't want to see him as a blonde?
Oh wait, this was the SNL skit, but that was funny as shit.
Yeah.
What about the movie he did with Lady Gaga?
The Gucci movie.
Oh,
I
I
didn't
saw that
watch it.
movie. Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but like the way he looks is very interesting.
Yeah, no, I saw it and
I
I just
would
felt
watch
bad for
it.
both of them. So in the whole movie, I'm like, oh God. But yeah, yeah.
Okay, here's my honorable mention.
Honorable.
Nice.
He's from both like Vampire Diaries and the originals, which is what I'm watching right now, which I've heard is better than Vampire Diaries. Probably just because of the ending, which you already know how strongly I feel about. Yeah, so it's kind of hard because this is obviously a villain that I love to love, right? Klaus,
Mhm.
Damon, also love to love. But Elijah is he's just different, right? He's a little bit more of a gentleman, a little bit more composed, still very strong, still struggles with like trauma and stuff, still intense. But there was a scene recently where he was like, as a devout feminist, I cannot da 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 da. And I was just like, but also, you know, these characters, him, they've all been alive in theory for thousands of years, right? I think that there's something attractive about this idea of the wisdom that comes from that much time on Earth, too, right? And that's kind of what he kind of represents to me, is kind of like,
Oh my God, you're like all the perspective, right? You're like, I want
the
to
perspective.
knowledge.
I would love a vampire just because they probably have great perspective. You know what I mean? They've been around long enough to have seen it all.
Yeah, there's definitely vampires are hot. You know why? I think it's interesting too. Like speaking of like Halloween, right? Vampires are on your neck, right? So they're like close to your neck, right? And so there's something about that is like super hot, right? And then something came over me. I became a monster in that moment, and I ravaged you, right?
Yeah, primal, right?
Yes. That is like hot. How do you feel about vampire movies, Christina?
I love them. Love them.
I love them, but will pass out at the sight of blood. Like
Yeah, me too.
Put my feet above my head to not pass out. It's that thing, but I love it.
It's weird when there's blood in vampire movies, I don't react, but if it's another type of gory movie, I will like close my eyes. Like, no, I want no part of it. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm turned on by vampire.
Yeah, it's the closeness. I think it's that tension between I shouldn't, but I want to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh, and when I looked up that guy, Mary, because I had to look up clips for the ones that you put up, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
As soon as I saw his pictures, I was like, okay, I see this one immediately, you know?
But like, it's more his composure too, right? Because like, and this was like a slow burn for me, right? I watched all the Vampire Diaries, way more in love with Damon, right? And his fucking damaged ass self. And then I started watching
Scorpio damage, something about that, right? Like
I can easily romanticize like somebody else's damage. I'm in therapy and not trying to do that, but easily done. But so I started watching originals, and that's where, I mean, okay, he's like a side character in Vampire Diaries. He doesn't he shows up a few times, but originals is more about him and his family. So you see a lot more of him, a lot more of his story, and like something about just his like restraint.
So you have all this power. It's like the strength card, right? You have all this power, but you restrain for
you choose
love.
Well, in general, chooses more good and fairness. They call him like the more honorable of the family, right? Yeah, there's something about that moral compass mixed with an immense amount of power.
Yeah, that's interesting. Moral compass. I think could be another water thing, right? Because you're talking about intuition. I don't know why, it just is, right?
Yeah.
So a moral compass would be a thing, right? Because that's where intuition comes from, right? That sort of higher minded, intuitive vibe, right? Something about that. And then you know, Cancer is the sign of the crab, tough on the outside, soft on the inside, right? I'm tough, will fight for, right? Somebody who I feel soft for on the inside. And then Scorpio, I think, does something similar, right? I will cut a bitch, right? For those who I love, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I think there's something too about like Damon being alive for these same kinds of thousands of years, right? And
Yep.
not evolving
Mhm.
is ultimately probably the reason he didn't make this list, was because there was no,
Not evolving.
right? I mean, he did for love, he did for kind of a selfish reason, right? But like, is it beautiful and intense to watch? Yeah, but like, there's part of you that watches him and you're like, you're a fucking child. Like, fucking
Yeah.
grow up and deal with your feelings,
Yeah.
you know? Whereas Elijah, you feel like everybody around him is bad just for the sake of being bad. There's a hedonistic selfishness, fuck
Mhm.
the world, I've been fucked, now everybody can just, right? And he's choosing different. He's
Yeah.
choosing to not kill people even though he could. He's choosing to, you know, hear somebody's story and then feel compelled to help them just for like kindness's sake, or just because, right? And that seems kind of rare in this kind of Vampire Diaries universe. And there's something about him that's just so unique
Mhm.
compared to literally every other character that's around him.
Yeah. So you like evolution. I was thinking about this. So like Venus in Cancer is like, right, Aries is the baby, then Cancer is the first water sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Scorpio is the next water sign, right? And then
And
Venus is like the Pisces is the last, right?
Yeah.
So I love that, Mary, you're highlighting the evolution, right?
Yeah.
And Christina, you're highlighting the I've got to be tough for family, right?
Yeah.
I'm tough for family, or I'm tough for those I care about, right? Mary's is I evolve for people I care about, right? That's something like that.
Yeah. Transform.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah. And then that's
Yeah, you had pain, but like, what did you do with it?
yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Super brilliant. You have
And
like
then now we have
7
Laicy.
seconds left. That's
5,
perfect
4,
time.
3. Aubrey
Yeah.
Plaza as Rio, I still is my number one though. Talk about Vampire Diaries all day, but like
Yeah, right.
Aubrey Plaza. I love that Christina and I both started with a woman.
I know.
That's funny.
I was trying to look for women, but I was like, oh well,
Lacey
I'll share
struggles
mine.
here.
You'll see mine, and neither of you know which ones that I've picked, but there are ones that everybody knows because that's how I roll. All right.
I was trying to give you host back, but it's arguing
Oh,
with
maybe
me.
if I do this more, reclaim host. Boom. See,
Perfect.
bypassed. Now it's just me again.
I was hoping that you had a way to do that because I was like, I don't see it.
Yeah, right. All right. So
show us your soul now.
yes, I'm gonna start my timer because I will talk for 1,000 years. All right, share my screen, right? Here, this is my first pick here. If you've ever seen Outlander, you've seen this face. This guy, he's from Outlander, right? Sam Huygen. I chose this picture specifically because, yes.
Kind of looks like Jeff a little with like the red
Right?
hair and
Yeah.
style and the
Give a type.
Yes, exactly, right?
glasses.
Well, there's a reason Jeff dresses the way he dresses. He is not buying his own clothes. You're welcome.
That's so funny.
I'm not controlling, but yes, right? It's just amazing. So I think what I loved about him, one, I love ancient history. I love old things. And he plays a character in time, right? Where, he plays a Scottish dude, right? What? Right? Yes. He's also a Scottish guy who is tortured. He's been tortured for family, right? Right? He's got rips on his back that have been healed, And he and Claire, the character, her here, this lady, they fight, but they also test each other, right? There's a testing of each other. But so you're looking at something in time, and she's in love with two men. She has a husband in one time, and then she's got this other guy in this other time, right? And so now she feels sort of torn in two. But so this guy is kind, fights for family, fights for country, fights for what he believes in. So he's like super hot. And then also for your viewing pleasure, I'm on the inside. He's on the
Your
outside.
synastry. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
let's take a
He's
look
got
here.
a Mercury in Aries that speaks right to my moon. Hello, right? So
You
when
know,
I'm
this is weird for me. I'm in the dark. Like I don't know this person. I haven't seen this show. I feel like
Right.
it's what you feel like all the time. You're like,
Yes.
I don't know who this is. Yeah.
but then I show you his chart. We've got a Taurus sun here,
Oh.
Scorpio moon. We don't
Ooh.
know the rising, so that's why it's in synastry. But I have learned that if you have Sagittarius, Pisces, or Scorpio placements, to some degree, you know what I mean? Like, what did you say? Are you evolving?
Yeah, you're like all of it combined.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit of Christina's, a little bit of mine, and then
Mhm.
kind of a higher octave of like deep
Yeah.
romance, maybe.
I mean, and you know, and then he's also got a face. See, he has a face. That is
Yes,
like,
just a little face.
He's got a handsome face.
Do you know a lot of people have faces though?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. His is pretty good though. His is one of those that takes some cake. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I
Oh
want
my
to
God.
eat your face. I want to eat you right up. Also, I've also discovered that people who are my Venus in Pisces, she likes heroes. So if they're being a hero for something more than themselves, I want to eat you up. I want to fuck your brains out, right? I want to make you feel like you are amazing, right?
So is it a hero for you or for like romance or just a hero in
No,
general?
a hero in general, right? Like, so if the person is like sacrificing so that others may have, it's there, you know what I mean? Like if that person is like, I'll put it all on the line. I don't love it though. Like if a guy is like not romantic at all towards somebody, you know what I mean? Then you're like, oh, you know. So I still like the fighting for family and stuff like that. But if somebody is like, oh, I've got to do it for a highest cause, then it tears me apart if you can't get fucked good. Like I just want to fuck them. It's true. True.
You crack me up.
Okay, so my next pick here is Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac. Two Star Wars people here we've done so far. I like his
And he's in
humor.
the Marvel universe too. He's in
Moon Knight,
yeah.
where he does ancient Egyptian shit. And
Oh my
he
God.
has an accent.
He got you so hot in that, didn't he?
Oh my God, if they have an accent, are you from another country? My Neptune and Sagittarius wants to fuck you. And it's the 9th house of philosophy, right? So I'm just like,
Institutionalized.
you're philosophical too? Oh, right? Like,
These people
get
that get
me hot.
imprisoned for being heroes.
Yes.
Institutionalized, Pisces 12.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So are you Sagittarius or Pisces? I can't help it. Right? There's something. And then do you have Aries placements? I've also noticed I'm extremely hot for Jupiter and Aries people. And I say people because I've met other women that I'm attracted to who also have a Jupiter and Aries. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? But Poe Dameron, this guy, right? Oscar Isaac. Now, his chart is my favorite chart to look at because for your viewing pleasure, we have a Venus in Aquarius, very close to my 2 to 4 degree, right? So I'm like, you're speaking my love language. I'm very aware of this, right? And so he's got a detached vibe, and then he's got a fucking Sun and Mars in Pisces to my Venus in Pisces. Shit all the way up, right?
Catnip.
Like,
Just pure catnip for you. Yeah.
right? Like, if he ever played a priest, I think I would die. You know what I mean? Look at that Mercury on my rising. Shut the fuck all the way up. Of course. And we've got a lot of fortune, the sum of his parts in Scorpio. That means I want to fuck 100% of him, not just, you know, the body. I'm like, I want your soul.
You
as
maybe
well.
want to possess him. Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds that way.
Yeah, right?
Girl,
Always.
every inch of you, your soul, hand it over.
His moon falls in my 5th house of sex for fun and pleasure. Shut up. Shut up.
And Leo too,
Yeah.
right? Like,
So we're going to perform for each other and I'm going to beg him to do things.
it's so perfect.
I
It's so
know.
I think my favorite thing about him is his bond with BB-8, you know, like
Yeah. Bonds with loves a fucking computer. Venus and Aquarius.
like it's almost like the sweetest relationship of the whole like series with him in it is him
One
and
of a kind.
BB-8's love of, in trying to get back to each other and like they're when they're reunited, you're like, I'm dead.
They're all, oh. Yeah, right. I fucking hate love you. And he's goofy, right? You can see the you can
Do
see
you like
yeah. You
do
can
you
see
like
the
the
Pisces.
uniform?
Huh?
Is that the do you like the uniform too? Is that part of it?
I do like a uniform for all the time. All the time. I'm definitely a sucker for someone in uniform, right? But you can see the Pisces right here, like the goofiness,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can he's not very photogenic at all either. Is something else I've known about it. You've got to really catch him, right? Because he's just like goofy looking, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But unless somebody is specifically capturing him for like he doesn't know he's doing it almost, you know? Because look at this, right? That is not hot, right? But it's very goofy, right?
Very. Yeah.
You know? That's how I know he would just be. But this one, hello, hi, I like that face. I want to sit on that face. Whatever.
You want to ride on those handlebars?
Yeah, he wants me to as well. I've seen his chart.
He'll take you to a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, exactly.
Use
No,
your
I want to be
cheesiest
on his
pickup
thing.
lines
I want
with
him to
me.
like swing by on his X-wing, right? I want him to like swing by on his X-wing, land and be like, we've got to go save the universe and then we're gonna make love. And I'll be like, yes, that sounds awesome, right?
You're all take me.
Yeah, exactly. Today, right now. Does this thing have autopilot? Those are thoughts
Aries,
that I have.
your double Aries, right?
I know.
now.
Okay, and so then my sort of last and most unlikely person is this guy here. His name is Andrew Scott. My favorite character that he played Moriarty so he's very smart. He plays intelligent people, intelligent guys. So he's not hot, right? We're not looking at a conventionally hot dude, right? But then if I show you, you know, this scene here, I'm going to mute it. In this scene in Priest, she's just confessed that she has like the hots for him. And then he's the priest in the other confessional, right? And so what he's doing right here is he's like, oh, shut the fuck up. I like you too.
This is a fantasy of yours. I'm taking it.
Oh my God, yes.
It's obvious.
Definitely, I feel like a high priestess. I think I could make people feel forgiven of their sins, right? And when you do that and you feel so light and awesome, then sex in French, they call sex le petit mort, which is the little death, right?
A little bit of rebirth every time.
Just saying. I like that shit. And he's a priest. So I've got massive hot for priests and pastors, right? Like men who are religious, not religious so much as men who are want to do the right thing, the most right thing, right? They want to do the most right thing, the most moral thing, right? That water morals, right? And then I like tempting them, whatever, it's fine. But you know, it's always been this way. I also noticed that when I was a missionary, right, lady, and I was traveling to other countries, right, my Venus in Pisces, let's show his chart here, this industry. So my Venus in Pisces over here in the 12th house, right, she attracts the incarcerated, the institutionalized, those who feel like they're outcasts, right? And so the way to heal a person is through sort of beliefs, a spiritual, like telling the story that makes them feel like it's wiped away, right? You are fresh, you are clean, you know, feeling this way. And so when I would travel abroad, right, 12th house vibes, I got 3 marriage proposals in 1 year when I was a missionary, 3. And I got continuous letters. We went to a prison, a state prison, and men from the state prison wrote me letters on the road, right? Like that's a heavy thing that Venus sort of just attracts, right? Yeah. Only it's taken me years and years and years and years and years to even notice what was even happening, right? I had no idea.
Let alone say no. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. When your no is repressed, this is the repressed house, right? So you don't know what's in there until you know what's in there. You see somebody else. So here we've got a guy who's got a lot of Libra, right? So we have a very charming person. So that's my opposite, right? That natural sort of person there. We've got a Mars in Scorpio with a North Node in Scorpio, right? And a Uranus, and his lot of fortune is here too. So we know that Oscar Isaac and he both have this, right? And then he's got a Venus, so he makes it lighthearted, right? And that means that he also finds pleasure out of teaching philosophy, religious beliefs, right? So that's what I have going on there, if that makes sense. And my honorable mention is Wesley from Princess Bride.
Nice.
Right.
Do you have a kink around like as you wish?
Maybe me doing it. Maybe me saying it. Right.
Well, as a dom, it definitely incorporate that, right?
Yes, right. That as you wish. I definitely, yeah. So I've noticed that my Venus in Pisces loves heroes, people who are willing to sacrifice and then
Go to the ends of the earth.
to the ends of the earth. And then here I am. I'm like, you deserve to be fucked. And I know that that could be like a weird thing, right? Like using the word deserved, right? But it's literally what happens. Like, and then they're also, the person doesn't have to be physically attractive for me to want to fuck them. You know what I mean?
Sapiosexual.
Interesting.
Yeah. That it's
Their
that
brain.
I want to fuck the brain. I want to, make love to someone who needs to be forgiven of their sins. I don't know, right? Like,
You want to absolve them.
I do. I want to. I think I can, Mary. I think I can do that.
Maybe
I
you
think
can
I
dress up
actually
as
have a
the
superpower.
priest. Maybe there's a confessional.
This
right?
is why.
Maybe there's an as you wish.
Oh my God. One of my dreams is definitely to be a priestess. Somebody comes to confessional, and then I have my armory to help them feel better about themselves at the end of this. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
And sometimes
dom them into feeling better.
Yeah, like making them feel like I not only was I beaten, but I also died, right? The petit mort, right? So I mean, you're talking about all-in-one, absolved of sins, but I cannot get a lady boner for a man who is physically hot, but who I don't like them on a soul level, right? Or even a woman, right? Like this is the thing that it would attract me to women is that they like, normally I'm not like attracted, I don't like fantasizing women, right? But then when a woman is like sacrificing, or they need to be touched, you know what I mean, or like worshipped, then there's something about that that's hot, so that's where it comes into, like, it doesn't matter about so much the face or the body for that matter. For me, it's more like, oh, you're so fucking good. You're so
that's so Pisces.
Yeah.
Heroics
so
and
wonderful.
goodness, right? Taking precedent over even a body form, right? Like more. We all definitely sound like our fucking Venuses, don't we?
Yes. So I know, I was so glad
emphasized. We actually did it in order too, the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Did you do that on purpose?
Weird. You'd think I did that on purpose. It's really weird.
You did. I didn't know you had a master plan there, but I see it now.
You don't see all my tabs open? I mean, there's tabs I didn't even show you. I didn't show you their individual charts. You
didn't show us Samurai Jack.
Yes. Okay. So Samurai Jack, honorable mention, the cartoon, right? And there's a guy who's literally sacrificing everything for all of the planets everywhere, right? Like, oh my God.
I have a question.
Go.
You watch a lot of like Marvel comics, superheroes.
Yes.
With Jeff.
Yes.
Are you ever attracted to these characters, right? These people who are like sacrificing themselves.
Yeah, right. Okay, so Chris Hemsworth is obviously the hottest of them all.
Thor.
Yep. Also, he's a Virgo, whatever. But yes, right. So he's super hot, but then I don't like how tiny, right? Like when he'll like belittle people, that will be like, okay, whatever, But so he's hot. So, but if I think of like the Marvel universe, like what hero do I like? And I'm gonna have to go with Michael Fassbender's Magneto.
Interesting.
Like
A
I
little,
think I
little
could
darkness
find-
there too.
yeah, Professor Xavier, right? Here's a guy who can't feel his legs, but I'm pretty sure I can get him to feel his legs. You know what I mean? Like,
Is that the only reason you like him? Is just like, I bet I could get him there.
yes, that is a thing.
What I love about those two characters too is they are both kind of heroic in their own ways. One just believes in humans and the other doesn't believe
Yeah.
in
I could do a twosome with them, and I think I
could
get them
bridge.
to agree on a whole other
This
level.
is your Democrat Republican
Exactly.
dream.
Exactly. I could build fucking bridges. Pluto, 7th house, Libra, right?
Hmm.
Like
The
take
X-Men
these two
could be free.
extremes and make them, you know. But
Lacey
yeah.
for president.
Lacey for president.
Yes.
I
Yes.
would run on an astrological platform, and I'm not joking, and I have given some thought. But I fear I
I'll
wouldn't-
write your name in. Say
Yeah.
the word.
And now I fear I wouldn't be taken seriously, but I love the idea of going into a room and just being full out authentic. You know, like knowing the chart of the person who I'm talking to, and then being full on authentic. I have
Imagine.
dreams. Yeah.
Imagine being in charge of everything and having the means to make every decision astrologically almost, right?
Right.
Like infinite resources to,
yes.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
to be able to, you know.
I love that idea so much, right? Because it's like I see it as like cogs on a wheel, like, oh, that would be
You could
nice.
have like a whole council of
Yeah.
astrologers, women astrologers or something like.
Or even if they don't know their own chart and I just know it, I think that would be enough. Be like, I need you two to talk, and then like moderate the discussion, right? This one has more Taurus in their chart. Say what you traditionally like, other side, go, right? What are your traditional values? Taurus, you like those, don't you? Right? Like that would be my plan of attack. Pull out the commonalities. Anyway,
You're
I
gonna
don't
try
know
to
how
get
that
one
became
big
into a-
government orgy is what
Yes!
you're trying to do. You're like, everybody
could
loves
do
each
that too.
other.
Mhm.
The world would be a better place, you know, like
Universe is
Lacey
not
for
done.
president.
Yeah.
Stand by it.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for doing this. This was really fun. This was really
Thanks
awesome.
for having this idea. This was a good idea.
Thank you for having me. This is so much fun.
So good.
Legit. So good.
Yeah. And now we're going to be thinking about it, and then we'll have to come back and be like, oh, okay, this is my next thoughts about that.
Yeah. Part 2 to come. You know it's not done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for joining me. And yes, thank you. Until next time, we'll see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.